Evangeline, she was about to be married to the love of her life, Gabriel, obviously the most handsome boy in the village. Evangeline and Gabriel, they were about to be married in the fall of 1755. But Gabriel, he was one of those 418 men and boys who entered into the church here in Grand-Pré on September 5th, not knowing what was about to happen. The next day, they put Gabriel on a tall ship where he sailed away without a goodbye. And Evangeline stood on the wharf where she tried to pray, but she had nothing left to say. Evangeline left on a later ship in a completely different direction, and for the rest of their lives, Evangeline and Gabriel searched for one another, always seemingly just one step behind the other one. During all these years, Evangeline had devoted her life to her faith and to helping those who might be suffering more than herself. One day, Evangeline was working in an infirmary. She was helping some elderly people who would pass through the night. She sat across an old man, a stranger. But in the morning light, his face suddenly showed the traits of his youth. Evangeline had found Gabriel. She gave him a kiss as long as her life, and Gabriel died in her arms. And she found the strength to say thank you. So here at Grand-Pré, we say thank you to an American poet, Henry Longfellow, because he wrote the fictitious story of Evangeline in 1847. Henry Longfellow was not an Acadian, and he had never come here to Grand-Pré, even after he wrote this very famous poem. However, inspired by some of the stories he had heard about the Acadians, he wrote this very, 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 very long poem. It was an immediate success. When it was published, it went through 6 printings in the first 3 months of publication. That already been translated to French the following year, and today the poem has been translated into over 150 different languages known all around the world. One of my first seasons working here, I met a lady who was from the Philippines, and she must have been in her 60s or 70s, and she told us that when she was in school, she had to read a part of the poem Evangeline and create a work of art based on that, and had since then been dreaming of coming here to Grand-Pré to visit Evangeline in the land of Evangeline. And stories like hers we hear all the time, and people have been hearing those stories of people coming here to Grand-Pré, to the land of Evangeline, for many, many, many years because of that poem. So, in the early 1900s, the park was owned by the railway company. We just walked over the railbed. So the railway company, the Dominion Atlantic Railway, they owned the park for many years. So they commissioned a family of Canadian artists to do this statue. So Louis-Philippe Hébert was the principal artist, and he had used his daughter Pauline when he created the little model, the little maquette of Evangeline. It was after his death that his son Henri Hébert brought that vision to life. And Evangeline was cast in bronze in a factory in France, and she was placed here in the park in 1920. So she's been standing with us for now 105 years. And I think for 105, we have to think, she looks really good. Now, certainly behind myself and Evangeline, you've noticed our church. I'm going to speed round all the questions about the church you're probably having. Is it the original church? No. This is our memorial church. It was built in 1922, just 2 years after Evangeline was placed here in the park. Is it a recreation of the original church? No, we have no idea what the original church looked like. We can imagine it was built of wood, but we really have no idea. It probably wasn't built with imported stones. Is it the same size as the original church? No. We also don't know how big the original church was. We can also imagine it was much larger than this one, 3-4 times the size of that room, because we know that they put in at least 418 Acadians on September 5th, plus British soldiers. Once we go in there, you'll see that we're not going in there with another 400 people. It would be very, very tight. Is it a Catholic church, like the Acadians left before their departure of 1755? No. Our memorial church was never consecrated to any religion. The goal was not to have a functioning church here in Grand-Pré again, but just to have something to help commemorate their history. And finally, is it on the same site as the original church? No. Our archaeologists have searched for many years to try and locate exactly where the church was without, they weren't able to find it with 100% certainty. They have a really good idea of where it might have been. I'll show you that a little bit later. But they did tell us with 100% certainty that it's not there. So we do know that. Any questions on Evangeline or the church?